Hi, I'm Simon Young from Real Results Training, and I'm going to show you a few different options of things you can do in your intervals programming that's lower impact. First one we want to look at is a slam. It's really good, it gets rid of frustration, it gets your heart rate super high, and you can really do this at home or at the gym. If you're going to slam a medicine ball, you want to always make sure it's not going to bounce back at you too much. So you always do a test bounce by having it to the side of you, keeping your face out of the way. You do a test bounce and see how bouncy that ball is. Some balls are actually made for slamming. They're full of sand and will just stop kind of dead. Others, if you have a bit less air pressure in them, they're not going to bounce as much. Here in our gym, we slam the ball onto a crash pad. That dissipates that landing and makes it a little bit more kind of safe to do so. So, I'm going to show you quickly with the medicine ball slam. You take your medicine ball, you're going to take it overhead, triple extension, you're going to drive down, you're going to use your legs, your core, your shoulders, using everything you've got, slamming that ball hard, trying to catch it as it bounces, quickly extend back up again and slam. You can progress that further by doing a sort of semicircle around the head. So you semicircle one way and semicircle the other. It gets a bit more core work in there. Really good way of getting heart rate up. If you've not got access to a medicine ball and you want to do this at home, a really good option is to use a pillow. Pretty simple. Get a pillow off the couch or the bed, grip hold of it nice and tight. Same thing. Really good way of getting rid of the frustration. So that's the pillow option. Nice and cheap, easy to do. Your friends, family and neighbours will think what the heck's going on, but it's good cardio, very little impact. Next on, we want to look at sort of what we call a locomotion drill, moving drill. If you have access to a sled, sleds are really useful for the push drill. If you don't, you can flip a bench upside down, it'll slide on the floor, and basically you push the bench down the floor. So you're sliding, pushing that sled along. It's reduced impact because you're pushing through with the toes and getting that nice sliding motion going on. Another locomotion drill uses a step. One of those 1980s kind of box steps. Now by using a box step, what happens is we have less impact than we would if we did a regular run in place. So that nice locomotive work has far less impact on us. So I'm going to put myself by our box, and we very gently just got a box run. Because I'm pushing through the balls of the feet, it's a lot less impact than a regular stamp, stamp, stamp run. You can go front to back. You can also go a little bit side to side. It's a less impact version of a run, depending on how much impact we want to dissipate. Next one on from there that we want to look at is a kettlebell swing. Kettlebell swing should be coached. So if you're not sure how to do this, go and find a fitness professional who knows what they're doing, who can teach you properly. It's an exercise that's driven by the hips and the glutes, hamstrings, core. It is not a push and pull with the arms. On a kettlebell swing, we take a nice silverback stance, loading our glutes and hamstrings. We reach in front for our kettlebell. Pull the shoulder blades into the socket. We hike past and drive the heels. The top of the motion, we're pulling the knees up towards the groin, squeezing the glutes, standing tall. We're not leaning back at the top. When we finish, we run it out and stand. Kettlebell swings are a great option to get that heart rate up. If you've not got access to a kettlebell, you can replicate the motion body weight. Feet are hip width apart, push the hands and glutes to the rear. You exhale through, coming onto the toes, go back onto the heels, up onto the toes. Not only does this get the heart rate up, it mobilises your shoulders, mobilises your hips. Really nice, low impact and zero impact way of getting a jump option or a swing option. Next I want to look at ropes. Ropes are favoured by trainers because they get a great cardiovascular effect, but with no impact. If your gym has them available, start with a basic movement. Wide stance, squat into it, chest tall. Get a ripple effect over the rope. From there you can progress on in. Hip driven like the kettlebell swing. Semi-circular motion, move the arms in and out. There's lots of different motions with the battle rope. Gets your heart rate nice and high, nice and quick, but without that impact. If you don't have access to a battle rope, what are you going to do? Get yourself a towel. Grip hold of that towel tightly. Same stance. Feet hip width apart. Same thing. Heavy enough towel or blanket will work the same as the battle rope and get your heart rate nice and high. Next I want to look at bands, resistance bands. You want a moderate weight or lightweight resistance band for cardio work. We prefer the endless cardio band. Stand on the band, have your thumbs touching a little. Dip the knees, extend up. It's called a high pull. So it's total body, uses those hips, knees and shoulders. We can progress further by adding a side step. That works as in another plane of motion and is low impact in comparison to something like a jumping jack. So we can go high pull side steps. Then, depending if our shoulders are capable of doing it, we can pull the band apart a little, do what we call a push press, which is a dip and punch. And on the push press, we can add the side step. So we dip, punch, so we've got that sideways movement. High pulls, push presses put together, back to back, alternating in rounds. Really good way of working the heart rate, moving that blood all around the body. Final one I want to look at, and it's just fun really, is going back to our slamming type motions. We use a tyre and a hammer. The tyre and the hammer is really good fun. If you have shoulder issues, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's a good way of getting the heart rate up, good fun thing to do, and it just looks cool. With tyre and hammer, it's not about the weight of the hammer. The weight of the hammer's, regardless of what you do, it's about a nice big motion. You grip the end of the hammer tightly. Your hand goes down in the head of the hammer. You take a staggered stance so the hammer has room to move. You draw a big circle. As you come around, the hands slide together. You bend your knees as the hammer strikes into the tyre. Come back, big circle, round we go.